Women's tennis is challenging the Chinese government and it shows no sign of backing down now. More than 2 weeks on, Beijing is facing a storm of its own making, as the global women's tennis community rises up to challenge Chinese authorities for silencing of one of their peers. Peng, 35, a two-time former Grand Slam doubles champion, has vanished from the public eye since she accused former Vice Premier Zhang Gaoli, 75, of coercing her into sex at his home in a since-deleted social media post on November 2nd. Since then, Chinese censors have been diligently scrubbing her name and even the vaguest references to her allegations from the internet. But the silencing campaign has failed to work outside of China. Over the past few days, the Women's Tennis Association and some of its biggest stars, past and present, have spoken out in solidarity with Peng, demanding to know her whereabouts. Concerns have only grown after Chinese state media released Wednesday a screenshot of an email, purportedly from Peng and sent to the WTA, walking back her sexual allegations and claiming everything is fine.
With the Winter Olympics less than 3 months away, analysts say the controversy, if unresolved, could snowball into an unprecedented showdown between the wider sports community and Beijing. Sports fans around the world will be paying attention to this story, which includes billions of people, said William Ney, a research and advocacy coordinator at NGO Chinese Human Rights Defenders. Direct challenge, but the WTA has refused to play along. We have to start as a world making decisions that are based upon right and wrong, period, and we can't compromise that, he said. We're definitely willing to pull our business and deal with all the complications that come with it. Because this is bigger than the business. By preparing to turn its back on access to the Chinese market, including a 10-year deal to hold its annual finals in the southern Chinese city of Shenzhen, the WTA is posing a direct challenge to Beijing. Beijing routinely uses market access as a powerful leverage to force Western business to hush up on human rights, or to toe its lines on issues such as Taiwan and Hong Kong. But in the case of the WTA, such tactics have not worked out as planned. So far, from a business and human rights point of view, the WTA is doing a much better job than almost any companies that have been engaged in controversies in China. And this actually shows one way forward for how to do it, said Ney with the CHRD. Mary Kohlberg, senior fellow at the German Marshall Fund's Asia program, said the bold move the WTA has taken is the right thing to do. It's what frankly more should do. Most of the organizations are very scared of China. China can punish them. I do think it's important that more organizations realize they also have a certain leverage, she said. The nature of Peng's allegations has also set her case apart from previous political controversies involving China's crackdowns in Xinjiang, Tibet and Hong Kong. In those cases, an incensed Beijing lashed out at Western companies for meddling in China's internal affairs. But the women's rights movement knows no national boundaries. To date, the Chinese government has moved to suppress #MeToo advocacy. It has harnessed its authoritarian apparatus to detain, imprison, threaten and silence Chinese feminists and their supporters. And it has mobilized its propaganda machine to portray feminism as a stooge of Western influence designed to undermine China. But now, such tactics may prove counterproductive, as the global #MeToo movement helps to bring attention to Peng's case, Kohlberg said. It's a transnational movement that has ties abroad, and therefore you can't just confine it to a single country, and you can't just make people shut up in China, she said. And that's why it's so important that people keep speaking out about these things internationally. Because if you're based in China, the state has so many options to shut you up, she said. Has a certain responsibility to show solidarity. Beijing's dilemma. By silencing Peng, Beijing is facing an unusual dilemma. If Peng were to appear on state television, analysts say many will take what she says with a grain of salt, given Chinese state media's long track record of airing forced confessions or other statements made under duress from people in extrajudicial detention. And while in Western democracies, it would be easy for the ruling party to deny such accusations, or even distance itself from a senior official. In China, party leaders are beyond reproach from members of the general public. And Jiang is no ordinary leader. He once served on the Communist Party's 7-member Politburo Standing Committee, the country's supreme leadership body, alongside Chinese President Xi Jinping. The political sensitivity is perhaps best demonstrated in a tweet by Hu Zijin, editor-in-chief of state-run nationalist tabloid The Global Times.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.